Welcome to the Mastermind Podcast.
Thank you.
Today we will be talking about dance though, So first of all, let me take a moment to welcome this beautiful lady over here who's chosen to join my podcast today, where I believe we'll be discussing the strangest activity known to humankind, and that's the topic of dance. I really believe and I think that dancing is one of the strangest and yet most fulfilling activity to the human spirit, culture, society, and throughout the evolution of human lives, dancing has continuously evolved. So we want to talk about this strange phenomenon that it's kind of like a drug almost, huh?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
So what's your experience being with dance?
Being with dance. My experience with dance is going on over 10 years. Mm-hmm. And it's been my healer. It's been my friend. It's been my everything. My whole life revolves around dance. So it's an expression of everything that's going on internally. Mm-hmm. And it's very necessary. Like it's like a sanity. It brings me sanity.
Very good. That's interesting. Before we go forward, take a moment, please. Subscribe to the channel. Get to Amazon. Purchase your inner light. This is a guide to letting go of fear and mastering the act of love. We've gotten great review actually, on this book. People that know me personally for many years, including my family, have given me the seal of approval. So I know you will love it. The Inner Light is now available on Amazon, and you can follow us, The Starting Point Coaching, on YouTube. Subscribe, leave your comment as to how this conversation relates to you. Your support means a lot. Truly appreciate it. And as you watch the podcast, let us know your feedback. All right. So I want to talk about Latin dancing today.
Okay, let's do it.
And the integration of Latin dance and the influence it has on the world, as a whole. Mm-hmm. And for me, it's so interesting as a dancer from Africa. And when I first came to the US, it was strange that how people view dancing based on the differences of culture. So for me, I was very curious and I wanted to look into the history of dance. Luckily for me, as blessing will have it, I was with an organization, Arthur Murray, that has already done phenomenal research on the origin of dances, the formation of each and every dances, when they come from. What I find to be true in all these research is that Cuba has been the center for Latin dancing.
That's true.
The Cuban is so everything from salsa, from cha-cha-cha to rumba to Afro-Cuban, and you take the Spanish colonial and mix that with African slaves that were coming over. You have these two very different cultures coming together in one place, creating this unity of life that is just revolved around the emotions, the mental aspect of it, and how the freedom that it gives from within. That's why I call dance the strangest and yet most fulfilling activity to the human spirits. Because it doesn't matter where you come from, you can relate. As long as it's almost like a drug, right?
It's like a drug. And also in Cuba, the way salsa started, it was their way of communicating with the gods, with the orishas. So it's like a very spiritual thing. Latin dance specifically started as a spiritual act.
Right.
So it still very much is that way, but yeah, maybe without that intention, different intention.
Definitely,
similar but different.
Let's stick with the spirit.
Yeah.
Let's talk about the spiritual aspect.
Let's talk about spirits.
Yeah, let's talk about spirits, because dancing, oftentimes when we talk about dancing, the word that people describe dancing is with fun. I'm confused because there are so many things that are associated with fun. I don't think dancing is just fun.
Really?
It goes beyond fun.
True.
It beyonds just the moment of having fun. It goes, because you talk about spirit, right? in the beginning, dancing was really used for ritual and culture, right? And like everything else, dancing has been persecuted by religion, particularly known to like the Islamic religion. In many Muslim culture, dancing was not accepted in the beginning as a whole. And the integration of this African and Spanish culture together to make this beautiful, now like you talk about the salsa, the cha-cha-cha, the rumba, like all the dances, like the cha-cha-cha and the rumba is a dance that is formed out of the original formation of the salsa. You know, and dancing was really a form of healing, right? Like you talk about dancing to the gods or at ceremonies. It's something like when in those days, when our ancestors did it, it was truly for the purpose of healing.
Yeah.
So which is why I say that dancing goes beyond just fun. And something that is just fun, you don't put your life and soul into it so much. You know, for example, going out and drinking with your friends, that's fun too. Taking a short road trip, camping trip, that's fun. But you don't spend your day and night dreaming, thinking about doing this and knowing that you can't live without it.
Yeah.
And for me personally, my relationship with dance as it is, I think most people have found their own relationship with dance to be different. My relationship with dance was born out of loneliness. You know, in the moment where I was completely alone and lost, dancing was a place that I found myself.
Well, I think that happens, like, you're not the only one. Like, I think that happens a lot.
Right?
Yeah.
So for me, when I looked at it, I have to look past the science. Yes, science has proven to showcase the benefit of dancing on the brain and the human development as a whole. The philosophy and the culture of this phenomenon, and I call it the strangest thing ever, is truly a spiritual healing for me. And to go from not having anything, being alone, but being in that space where you just saw everything was good, I think we have to look for a deeper meaning to it. And then we have to also now look to the different aspect of dancing as it has evolved. From the 19th century, 16th century of dancing being discovered, and I know that it goes way beyond that, even back to medieval days, right? So, but we can just say, let's start from the 19th century, the 1900s, the 1600s, when dancing was started to be documented. And you can see how it truly brought people together. And in one place for a moment to just enjoy the peace of life that is within the human spirit as a whole. And when you talk about being honest with yourself, being honest truthfully, and having to love authentically, I think you can find that through dancing. Many people, like you said, I'm sure you can attest to the fact that when you are in the moment of dancing, the outside world is forgotten.
Absolutely.
Nothing else matters except the moment.
Yep, that's the magic of it. I think no ceremony is complete without a little dance. And yeah, it's like you said, it's like dance has evolved and changed, like it has fused with other genres. People can hate all they want, but it's like at the end of the day, dance is still the same. It's for spiritual reasons, and it's for connecting with yourself and with yourself. If you want to dance with yourself, if you want to dance with somebody else, with someone else.
Exactly.
So the essence of it is still the same.
Still the same. Absolutely the same. It still fulfills the same desire within the human spirit. And again, if you're really enjoying this conversation, go ahead and push the like button and subscribe. Tell us how you receiving this message so that maybe we'll come up with a little bit more content for you on this topic of dance. Now let's take it to another step, right? Further. Now there is also the business aspect of dancing. There is a social aspect of dancing. Yes. There is a competitive aspect of dancing. I have been blessed to see all of it. From social, recreation to competitive, and now the business aspect of it. So I can honestly say that people have different perspective when it comes to dancing today, in our society today. And it is affecting, and quite honestly, I think taking away from the power that is dance, the power of healing that it holds on the human spirit. And I would honestly, without hesitation invite each and every person on the planet of the earth to take dancing. Why? Because you search each day waking up trying to discover yourself. You read books, you look to science, you look to philosophy, and but you still haven't discovered yourself. And if we look to religion, and that just kind of sometimes depresses us, to be very honest, because when you look to religion, something that's supposed to be good, healing and fulfilling, you find something about it that's wrong. I guarantee you would not find that about dancing if you did it for the single purpose of self-discovery, right? Of truly, like you said earlier, getting in touch with the self that is you.
Yes.
What is your experience with that as far as when you being from being a social dancer, right, to now being a really traveling international dancer, and especially Latin, salsa, bachata, that you're truly known for, and now being part of the business? What have been your experience in those aspects?
My experience in terms of like running my business,
running your business, and having to be a dancer socially, and having to be an educator in the field of dance now. I
find that it's like you need a team. It's really hard to do it all yourself, and like running the business, also, you know, being a dancer, because like you said, there's a lot of tracks, there's a lot of ways you can go as a dancer. And a dancer, if that's your sole purpose, sole job is to dance, then you shouldn't worry about the business stuff, because it kind of like it clouds you. Like it's possible, but then one side is gonna suffer, in my opinion. Because
yes,
I want to be more creative, I want to do more dancing, I want to do more pure dance, but there's the business side. So it's like, it's literally so different. The art side and the business side, they're completely different. So you have to use both sides of your brain at all times, and you're like, okay. So yeah, something's got to give, whether it's the business side, the accounting, the marketing, your appearance. I mean, there's only so much a person can do. And I think a true artist should just stick to their art and have like a manager, a team managing their career. It's a privilege to get to that point.
Oh my God.
Absolutely.
Listen, this conversation is going way better than I thought it would be. But again, that's the power of understanding truly the self that you are, what it is that you're doing, why you do it, understanding the obstacle that comes with each and everything. Dancing is a joy to the human spirit. That joy doesn't come easy.
No.
Right? It comes with a lot of hard work, a lot of dedication, late nights, consistency. So when you look at it, one of the biggest challenges that I see today in our society, and again, I'm talking present day, not yesterday, is that artists are losing track of the creative aspect and the strategic aspect. That once you decide that this is now a business for you, you need to understand that you're no longer in the service just for you. You've discovered within yourself that this is a valuable commodity to be shared with so many people. You've discovered within yourself that this is something that you desire to share with as many people. Through that process, you also realize that you do have to make a living. And what is happening right now is dancing isn't as regulated as other sports, like let's say even personal training, yoga, right? Those sports or even martial art are much, much more regulated, where you have to go through a certain curriculum to complete to becoming a teacher, to becoming a competitive dancer. That's beside the point. One of the things that I truly appreciate, again, I always give you a fair example of my own experience with the things that I'm talking about. That is based on my knowledge. So when I first started dancing, for me, I was privileged to have been paid to dance. This is something that I was gladly freely paying for. I never saw in my future to be a dancer. let alone be a studio owner, let alone be a competitive dancer, and now achieving a master certification in that to be able to educate so many people. But through my discovery of dance at 10 years old, when I saw what it did for me, the value could not be ignored. So then when I decided to become a dancer, it was simple. I needed the education. I needed the time that it took to learn through all the different aspects of dancing so that I can not just be an artist who, if I desired to run a business, didn't understand that aspect. So when I first worked as a dancer, I made peanuts compared to what I was bringing in for the studio. So I made about $19,000 a year dancing, and I brought over for the studio that we're working for close to $500,000, right, in revenue. That was my choice. I wanted to focus on the creative aspect of it first. Then I also wanted to learn a business to focus on the strategic. One of my goals would be really going forward is to share with more artists how to be an artist that never lose the joy that brought you to dancing.
Well, I was gonna say, like, once you get in the business aspect of dance, then it kind of sucks the fun out. In your experience, I don't know, I'd like to hear about your experience, but for me, it kind of like, you're not so much focused on like your art form anymore. You're more focused on how to make money and how to pay the bills.
Correct.
So
yeah,
it's like,
if you know me, you understand that I'm not shy about asking for money when it comes to paying me to work. In the sense that I understand that this is a living. I understand that money is a necessary means to continue to walk this path, right? One of my things, I think the 6 years that I spent in Latin America taught me a lot. That if I put in the time and I worked on my crafts, at the end of the day, the reward that I'm working for will be given. So I pay a price and I get the value. What do you see with me personally? And the question that I get often time is, how can I do all the different aspects and not get tired? I run a studio, I compete competitively, and I teach all day, every day of the week. And yet I still find the energy to continuously do and not losing. The point of it is, for me, it's very simple. I know what dancing is for me. It's a spiritual aspect of dancing that is much, much more important than the physical aspect of it.
I think it's like you're mentally strong, which
Correct.
is, that's like the thing that breaks people down whenever they're taking this path of like being a dancer and a business person. It's like, if you're not mentally strong, or actually even an artist without the business, just like that you're a pure artist, you need to have like, it takes a lot of time to get like your mental stability and to get your mind right to be able to do these things in front of crowds and pass your energy onto them. You have to work on your energy a lot. So
Exactly.
if you don't have your energy right, then you can't do these things.
You really can't.
Yeah.
You really can't. And to try to receive from someone else's external energy to add to yours is a waste cost. It's a lost cause, because what you're going to find that as soon as the event is over, you want to be done with it.
You're drained.
You're drained, completely drained, and absolutely don't want any part of dancing. Again, for anyone who is an artist, understand, and I'm talking about someone that's made it to a top level, right? That said, you know, I've gone through this. Not just someone who became from and again, this is a problem. You have social dancers, great dancers, never taken any certification to become a teacher, now teaching.
And they're teaching. Yeah.
So when I looked at this, I'm like, okay, this is great, but please understand the information that you pass on to the people that are coming to you is a value that they're going to trust and listen to.
That's the thing, is like they don't take it seriously. You have
Correct.
to take this seriously for what it is. It's
Correct.
an education.
It is an education.
Shouldn't
It
be
is a
taken
lifestyle.
lightly. Yeah.
You know, it is an education. It is a lifestyle. So
It's
if you
a spiritual thing.
very, 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 very much so. And I think it's bringing up a situation where people who desire to dance truly maybe are losing the joy for dancing because of that. The message that I would share with anyone who maybe looked at these social dancers turned teachers, just accept them for who they are. You be the reason that they realize that they need more than just being a social dancer turned teacher. Why? Because when for me, yes, I did the education to be a dancer. I truly pay a lot of time. Even to this day, I'm still paying for my education through dance.
Yeah.
Right? And I'm still doing it. Each and every month, I'm investing in my own development. Mm-hmm. So when I see somebody who have limited knowledge, that's someone who's lacked the wisdom to be truly authentic. That is someone who's taking sound bites and repeating it because that's what they've heard. That's someone who maybe haven't truly experienced dancing for what it is. Because if you experience dancing truly for what it is, and that is a spiritual connection to the human spirit, I keep coming back to this. When you are connected with the spirit that you are, you never lose. You really don't. When you do it for that spiritual connection that is within you, you can see as many people throughout the day, throughout the week. The business aspect of it may be the challenge, because as much as you want to do it spiritually, the challenging is you cannot be the teacher equally as you are the administrator. Something will give. In my experience of my business as I'm trying to build the studio, is that my personnel side has struggled a bit because of my inability to extend myself beyond the creative aspect of it for my clients. And I've been accused by my staff in past years that I pay more attention to my clients than I do to the staff. And I would say that that's true. I would say that that's true, and I will not deny it. The reason why that may seem true, I understand the decision that I've made to become a teacher. When I became a teacher, it was a choice that I made to extend as much as I can to the people that walk into my life. The people that come in to want to learn to be a teacher, the education platform is different. They're choosing that they want to know the true meaning and the reason behind why this strange and yet most fulfilling activity is never cease to amaze the human spirit. I've never had a client that came in for a dance lesson truly focusing on dancing and left sad. I haven't had that. They may come in not feeling themselves, but they will leave truly fulfilled, grateful for the experience, and appreciated for the time. And when you looked at that, so yes, my priority has always been the people that come to me for my services first, as a way of finding themselves. And then that includes also my staff, that includes the students. What the difference has been for me, there are levels. If you come in as a beginner, never done this, I have no expectation of you except your present. If you come into me as someone with some knowledge, desiring to share this with some other people, I have some expectation of your decision making. Like, do you truly understand what it is you signed up for? Do you understand the value, how the symbolic nature of this that you're choosing to do? Because it is not going to get you rich quick. Just get this very quickly understood. You will make a lot of money in the beginning dancing. You will spend a lot of money in the beginning to become a teacher. Lots of time. Over time, you will start to make the money. Over time, when your values start to showcase and people love you for what you're doing, it's a matter of telling the client, hey, you need this, and they trust you to do it. Right? So again, I encourage you and everyone else not to lose their focus. Not to lose the purpose, the reason for why they started dancing, truthfully. And recommend to those social dancers who turn teacher to understand what it is that they're now signing up for. Success leaves clues. I've always made it my purpose to seek advice and wisdom from people who have come before me, who have done what I'm doing at a higher level that I admire and appreciate. So before we break into the next segment, continue on this alignment, what feedback do you have for those things, and what would you see as an encouragement going forward?
Encouragement for dancers? Yeah, like what you said, don't lose your purpose, and always go into it positively. Like, realize that it's really like what's preventing you from dancing is a mental block.
Sure.
So as long as you are aware of that, I'm not saying your mental blocks are gonna just disappear immediately, but if you're aware of that, you can work through like the pain of like maybe not understanding at first or whatever the case may be. But yes, always be positive and know that it's just mental. You just have to work through it.
Very well
Patience.
said. And with that, we're going to take a quick break. But before though, do us a favor, like the channel, subscribe to it, leave your comment. We really truly love you, and we hope this topic is going to empower you and uplift you to another perspective. Loving you always. We'll be right back.